Hello everyone, it's Jessica here with another layer for Shimmerz Design Team. You can use my name Jessica in the note section of your order to get a free gift. I am just prepping some of my thicker cardstock here with some clear gesso first. I'm just using my spatula I got from Amazon and just using that Finnabair clear gesso and just spread that all over my paper. While that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and map my photos using some smooth white cardstock. I do my cutting off to the side because I have a very large cutting mat and I don't like to pull it into my frame every single time. So I've got that here. I've matted it with that smooth white cardstock first, and then my favorite 49 & Market background paper with that striped black and white. That is from the Spectrum Gardenia collection, I believe it's called. And I just love that paper. I have several sheets of it and always like to keep some in my stash. Then I'm just taking some tissue paper here and trimming a little bit out. I kind of rip some of the edges. It's not absolutely perfect. It's just the way that I like it, kind of all messy and just kind of random. And I just put that down behind my photo. And then I'm pulling out a background paper by Pretty Little Studio. This is the You Are My Sunshine collection. I'm going to be using quite a few things from that collection today. I've got this little border strip that I thought I was going to use and pull in some orange, but then in the end I ended up not pulling in a whole lot of orange on this layout, but it's okay. I'll have it for another layout now. These are the Shimmerz pots. I am just prepping by adding just a little bit of water to them because the one kind of got all dried out. So I just reactivate them with a little bit of water. And here you can see I spritzed my page with some water as well because I like to add more water to my paper. That way my mixed media and my little colors here have a place to go. If I put that right on my paper, it would be fine, but I would kind of need to use a lot more product. And these are very, very vibrant, very shimmery, and I want them to blend together. So the water really helps that. So that's why I add that. And I'm just kind of placing this lightly here over top just to see where I want my photos to sit. I'm adding a little bit more water to the bottom so it just has a little bit more movement, and I'm just going to blend these colors in together. I want the colors to vary. I want to have that variation, but I still wanted them to blend together as well. So I'm just kind of playing around with them, moving them, and I'm kind of sopping up some of those bigger puddles as I go. The paper being prepped with the gesso allows those colors to blend together and allows them to move, and you can manipulate those colors. If you did not put the gesso down on your paper, it would be very porous and it would just soak up the color. You wouldn't be able to move it around like I am here. You wouldn't be able to blend the colors together very well. Here, I'm just adding some splatters in the various colors that I'm using, and I am just adding that to create kind of like a marbly effect and to break up those colors and make it look like I did several layers of these colors, but really, I'm kind of only working with one wet layer. But it'll all blend together and look really cool once this is dry. The colors that I'm using today are Shimmerz in Pull Me Close, Anchors Away, and Tickle Me Turquoise. And then the bottled one there that you see is a color Splash, and that one is called Sea Breeze. I'm actually just going to use that to add some splatters. I wanted to create more of a marbled effect, so I'm pulling out some white acrylic paint and watering it down so that it's a consistency I'm able to splatter onto my paper, and there you can see that beautiful marbled effect there. It just kind of breaks up all of those colors and just makes it look really pretty. So I just dried up that little pool at the bottom. It was kind of running off the page there, so I didn't want it to go too far. I actually let that dry a good bit, but while I'm letting that dry, I'm just going to mess with my layers here beneath my photo. I've got that torn paper that I ripped a piece off of that Pretty Little Studio background paper. My little girl's going to be coming in here. You're going to see her hands at the bottom. She is helping me scrap today as usual, and she's in my room. So you're going to see her pretty little paws coming in at the bottom of the frame, and she's just having a blast helping me out. I decided to add some more layers in where this little paper is. So I'm just using some Nuvo glue to kind of tack this down lightly with this trim piece. But then I did use my stapler as well, just to staple some of those ends in there. So that's about where I'm going to place this. It's about dry at this point, but I wanted to get it a little bit more dry and a little less warped, so I am going to end up running this through my hot laminator. I have a mink, so I run my 12 by 12 sheets through that. It really helps dry anything that's not dried, and it also helps flatten out the page. So any warping that I do get, it will flatten that right out. Sorry about my light. I see that it's right in the center of that photo. You can see there, it just came out of my hot laminator and it's all dry. That's what it's going to look like. So you can see the color variation there too with those few colors that I used and how perfect that looks on that background. I just love how it looks like a big splash. And that's really what I was going for because this is a beachy layout after all. I had some beach photos from September of last year, and we this was like one of our last beach days of the year. It just happened to be a super nice day, really super sunny, and we were visiting a different beach because we were at a family reunion, so we got to enjoy the beach that day, and it was just a really fun time. So I ended up capturing some really good photos that day, and here, I'm just going to note, do as I say, not as I do. I did not peel the backing off of that acrylic piece. This is an acrylic title by Color Cast Designs, which I love. I did not peel the backing off because I really liked the way that it popped and looked with the backing on it. It just seemed to make it a lot darker. When I peel those backings off, they're a little bit more transparent, and I didn't want to peel the backing off and it looked like that. So I may have an issue with that later on. If it peels off on its own in my book, I will deal with it then. I am not super worried about it. I just really, really liked the way that it looked. But again, if it falls off later, I'll fix it then, and I will just re-glue it and take that backing off. No big deal. But normally, yes, I would peel the backing off of those before I use them. I couldn't find a whole lot of embellishments I wanted to use on this page to finish it off, so I ended up pulling out Vicki Boutin's Bold and Bright collection. It's a newer one. I know a lot of the shops have it. A Cherry on Top has it. I think Scrapbook.com maybe has it, but I get mine from a Cherry on Top. That's where I got this one. And it was just sitting here beside me in my to-use bin that I have on top of my little cart. So I thought, you know what, it's really summery. It has a lot of cool things in it. So I'm going to pull that out and use a couple things from that collection. And then I've got the rest of this little kit here by Pretty Little Studio. So I'm going to pull some more things in from that, like some of these wordy phrases and some of these stickers. They're just kind of like clear stitching. So I'm going to use some of those right there on the bottom. And I'm going to add a couple more things to the bottom and scatter maybe some hearts or flowers or something. And then I'm going to grab some Flair from my stash here as well. So I love that little sunshine. That was in this Pretty Little Studio collection in one of the die cut packs. And I thought he looked pretty perfect up there. And then for my Flair here, I'm going to add some thread in behind it. So I'm going to create my normal glue dot sandwich with my medium glue dots, and I'm just going to use one on the Flair itself and then twiddle this thread behind it and then pop another glue dot or two behind that so that I can actually adhere it down to the page, and I know it's not going to go anywhere. So that's done. I'm going to just do the same thing here with the second one that I'm using. I just grabbed some summery ones from my stash here, and I'm just going to add a couple of those on. I thought this layout just needed a couple more things, and I couldn't find any flowers like I wanted to add, so I ended up just popping on some Flair. It was super easy and quick. And then here I am just going to finish adding a couple of these little ditties that I found in the Pretty Little Studio collection. So I'm just adding those. I wish I had a ton of those little flowers because those little flowers are super cute, and I wish I had like 1,000 of them. So I'm just going to finish embellishing this. I'm going to pull out a few more things from this Bright and Bold collection from Vicki Boutin. So I'm going to add a couple stars up here, and I'm going to grab a couple more things, see what else I can find here to add. And then I'm going to grab a few sequins too. I have lots of sequins in my stash, so I'm going to grab some of those. Shimmerz also sells their own sequins as well. I think they still have some of those in the shop, so make sure you check those out. And again, if you do place an order with Shimmerz, I have the link down below in the description, but you can get a free gift with your order if you type my name, Jessica, in the notes whenever you place your order. So here I'm just going to finish that up by sprinkling on some of these sequins and using my sequin tool and some Nuvo glue to stick those down. I'll make sure that I will try to link everything down below in the description for you that I have used today. And here is the finished layout. I hope you guys enjoyed this process and hanging out with me today, and I hope I've inspired you to create something beautiful. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.